Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga Towel's YouTube channel. I am Tanya and I'm going to be guiding you in this session through a series of poses that focus on the digestive system and in particular acid reflux. So find your mat and let's get ready. So come to find a comfortable seated position on the mat. Move the hips from side to side and feel both sit bones in firm contact with the mat. Then let's turn our palms upwards and we close the index finger and thumb. Close the eyes and we become aware of the breath. Start deepening the inhale. Gently release on the exhale, not forcing anything. Allow the mind to let go of whatever it occupied itself throughout the day. Conversations, maybe you had conflict. You might have been worried, you might have been rushed or stressed. Move it all out to the side. We will pick it up later. And let go of whatever you've got waiting for the rest of the day. Move it out to the side. We will pick it up later. And feel the breath like that eternal life thread that always flows, that always exists. And in this practice, we're going to be using the breath to make light of challenge. So join me in 4 rounds of 5 box breath today. So we'll breathe in for 5 counts, hold on the full lungs for 5, exhale over 5 counts, and hold on empty for 5. Now we gently lift through the spine, we lengthen the back of the neck. Again, not forcing anything, but being aware of the lightness in the torso. And then empty the lungs. Get ready, breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, and fill the lungs. And hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 2. Now focus to spread that breath evenly over all 5 and hold on empty. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in 1, 2, 3. Take in more oxygen than before. 5 and hold. 2. When we're holding, make sure the shoulders are soft. 5 and exhale. 2, 3, 4. Empty lungs and hold on empty. 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathe in 1, 2. Lifting through the spine. 4 and 5. And hold on full. 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale 2, 3. Empty the lungs more than before. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. 2. It's the last round. Make it a good one. 4, 5. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale. 2, 3, 4. Empty completely. And hold on empty. 2, 3, 4, 5. Gently open the eyes. We're going to come to lie flat on our backs. We're going to draw the knees into the chest and we're going to hold onto the shins. Allow the legs to rest gently on top of the torso. The aim here is to feel all 4 corners of the back in full contact with the mat. Right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade. Right side of sacrum, left side of sacrum. And now let's release the left leg all the way down to the floor. Pull the right shin into the chest now, aiming to put that right thigh on the right lower ribs. So what we're doing here is create compression with our right thigh. We create compression in the right side of the groin, where we have lymph nodes and glands situated. And we create a bit of compression on the right side of the abdomen, on the ascending colon. So through compression, we interrupt the blood flow. We don't stop it, but we interrupt it. And then when we release, like we're going to do now, release that right knee, cup it in your right hand for a moment and hang out here and just feel what's happening in the right leg. Feel the effects of circulation. And that is what happens the moment we release compression. So wherever we had compression, freshly oxygenated blood is now flowing to those areas. And now let's get ready. We swap our legs. So drop the right leg to floor. Pull the left knee into the chest. Grip the chin. Squeeze that left thigh onto the body. Trying to put that left thigh onto the left lower ribs. Now on this side, we're putting a bit of pressure on the descending colon. Putting pressure stimulates all the nerve ends that serve those organs, helping to optimize digestion and elimination. And let's hold for one more breath. Gently release. Again, cup this knee in your left hand and just hang out for a breath or two. And feel, perhaps you feel a tingling in the foot, maybe in the calf. Maybe you feel a warmth here where the thigh rested on the lower ribs. And then straighten out the left leg. Shake out the legs. Pull the legs up into chest again and gently rock from side to side. So rocking over the back stimulates the nerves that originate from between the vertebrae along the spine. And those nerves serve the organs in our body, and particularly the organs in our abdomen, which are our digestive organs. So now let's grip the legs behind the knees, and we're going to do 20 rocks back and forward. So we'll throw the legs overhead and then come down with a nice large stomp of the feet on the floor. Stomping the feet on the floor serve to regulate kidney function, and rolling over the back serves to further stimulate all those nerves that originate from between the vertebrae. So let's go. In your own time, count 20 of these and try to feel as we roll over the back how the muscles of the upper back, maybe the shoulders, maybe even the base of the neck, all get stimulated, massaged, softened. And we're getting the spinal fluid moving. But most of all, we're just having fun with our bodies. Are you guys counting? And then for the last roll forwards, come to a still with the feet in the air. So work carefully, use the abs, use the hip flexors to control the movement, and come to a still with the feet in the air. Now we're going to grip the backs of the knees once more. Pull the knees close to the chest. Then lift the shins to be parallel to floor. And then using the abs, the lower abs, and the hip flexors, we're going to hold this position for 8. And if you want to add a modification, and 7, you might choose to release the hands, and 6, and float them next to the shins. Find the adjusted center of gravity if you do so, and 5, and 4, and 3, and feel how those lower abs are working, and 2, and 1. Now release, stretching out the legs, allowing the hands to stretch out overhead, and feel how the belly, the skin on the belly is stretching out, and pull the hands towards the back, and point the toes, pull the feet away from the body, and relax, and just breathe. Taking lots of oxygen. Feed the body with oxygen whilst we're doing these exercises. And let's get ready. We meet in half boat, half Navasana again. And again, lift the shins to be parallel to floor. Now make sure when we start to pull the knees into the chest, that we're not keeping tension in the shoulders. So soften the shoulders, move the shoulders away from the ears. Become aware of where we are doing work. So it's in the lower abs and in the hip flexors. Hip flexors running over this groin area where a lot of lymph nodes and glands are situated. So get ready. Pull the knees into the chest. And remember, if this is enough of a challenge for you, then stay here. There's no need to add a modification. You are getting the benefits. However, if you want to add a modification, consider releasing the hands or gripping the backs of the knees and straighten out the legs. Or if you want to take it further, you could even allow the legs to remain straight and then allow the arms to drift parallel next to the body, parallel to floor. And let's hold for 8 and 7. And because we've been here for a while, we're counting a little faster. And 5 and 4 and 3. And feel the lower abs working. 2, 1, release legs, allow the hands to go back overhead once again. Soften out those hip flexors, soften out the lower abs, soften out the shoulders, breathing deeply here to nourish the body internally. And circulation we're creating through these asana bring additional oxygen to the body, which in turn means detoxification, maintenance, building of muscles, repairing, and anti-aging. And let's get ready. We're going to come onto all fours. So roll yourself up to a seated position or just come onto all fours, any which way you wish. And we find our perfect box position. So check the good angles here. Shoulder over wrist, hip over knee. And we push on our hands to create space between shoulder and ear. So push on those hands and lift the ears away from the shoulders. Get ready for a few rounds of cow and cat. So we start with cow and we can do them slowly to really get maximum benefit. Let's go. Drop the navel to floor. Stick the sit bones into the sky. Lift the gaze, look up at the ceiling or the sky. Roll the eyeballs, feel how the eye muscles are stretching. Feel how the tummy is stretching our organs inside the abdominal cavity. Now reverse direction. Pull the navel into spine, drop the head low, put the chin on the chest, tuck the tailbone under, and try and move the shoulder blades, pull them away from one another on the back. Draw that tummy in tight to the spine, compressing the abdominal organs, and gently release. We're going to go into a cow again, so make it a fluid movement. Push that navel to floor, stick sit bones high, look at the sky. Now compress the shoulder blades and move them closer together on the back. Your chest will need to sink to achieve this. And really stretch into that lower back arch, stretching the skin over the tummy. Reverse direction once more. Arch the upper back, put the chin on the chest, tuck the tailbone under. Pull the shoulder blades away from one another. We want to stretch the shoulder blades, the area between the shoulder blades. And gently reverse. We meet in flat back or tabletop. Now push the body back into child's pose. Actively push on the hands to get those sit bones as close to the heels as you can. And now slide the hands forward, draping the chest over the thighs. And then soften the neck. Allow the forehead to touch the mat. And we're going to hang out here for 5 resting breaths. Lift the head. Get ready to push the body up onto all fours. We're going to tuck the toes under. We're going to push with the hands to sit onto our heels. So get the weight completely over the heels. Then drop the forehead low.
Start straightening out the legs into downward dog. And let's walk out the dog. And we gently work into those hamstrings, into the backs of the knees, into the Achilles tendon, and then bring the body to a still. Now adjust the dog so it feels good, and then see if you can lower the head down to the mat. Stick the sit bones higher into the sky, and let's come onto tippy toes, so we're really flexing into those toes again. And be aware here of how the ligaments over the fronts of the feet are stretching. So whilst we're hanging out here for 8 breaths, be aware that the ligaments and reflex points in the feet, as in the hands, all have to do with organs and areas in the body. So by stretching out these ligaments, we are stimulating the energy flows to our liver, to our pancreas, to our kidneys. Let's hold for 2 more breaths. Now gently lower the heels. Rest the knees onto the mat. Untuck the feet so the tops of the feet are resting on the mat. And now move the knees out to the sides as wide as your hips allow. Keep the big toes in contact. Then press with the hands. We're sitting back in wide like a child. Actively press on the hands. Try and keep the sit bones close to the heels. And then slide the hands forward. Allow that chest to drop down to the mat. And we're going to hold for 5 resting breaths. It's normal for the sit bones to lift off the heels. Be aware here of an intense opening in the shoulders, an intense opening in the hip sockets, and a gentle alignment of the spine and the sacrum. Get ready, press the body back onto all fours. We're moving our knees in together and we come back into our box position. Once more, we're going into downward dog. So tuck the toes under, press the weight over the heels. Start straightening the legs into downward dog. Decide whether you want to walk out the dog again here or whether you just want to hang out. And then let's all bring the body to a still. Again, see if we can actually stick the sit bones higher into the sky. So you might want to come onto the tippy toes for this, or you can leave your heels close to the mat and bend the knees and then stick the sit bones up. So drop the head, you tilt your body so the sit bones point up to the ceiling and the head points down to the mat. We're in an inversion, which is really beneficial to digestion and just general health. So let's all in straighten the legs, drop the head and the chest closer to the mat, and then release by putting the knees back on the mat. Untuck the toes. Once more, we press the body into child. So this time we're going to make this an active pose. We're going to continue to press on the hands to try and keep the sit bones in contact with the heels. And if you are here where the sit bones don't meet the heels today, that's okay. Yoga is a work in progress. So we're going to actively continue to press on the hands and then soften the neck. Allow the head to hang. Resting on the forehead on the mat, we hang out here for 5 breaths again. Lift the head. Get ready to press the body back onto all fours and simply come to seated. So we're going to start with butterfly and then we'll do a twist. For butterfly, position the soles of the feet against one another. Pull the heels in as close as you can to the groin. Then we interlace the fingers and we cup our feet in our hands.
So you can now draw on the feet and use that lever of the arms to get you closer to the feet. Pull our body forward. We do not really want to curve it yet. Let's pull it forward first, as if you're being pulled by your chin or your sternum. Feel that opening in the hips, it's quite intense. If you want, you can lean forward, use your elbows to squeeze on the shins. If you're not far forward enough, use the elbows to press on the thighs and move them out to the mat, down to the mat as far as you can. Now, once you have your position, soften the neck, drop the head, see if you can put your chin on your chest. And then once you've got your chin in position, see if you can move the forehead closer to the feet. And even if it's just 1 centimeter of movement, the good work is happening in your body. So let's go. Chin onto chest, arch the upper back. Once you have this position, pull the body down, try and put the forehead onto the toes. And then let's hold this for 5 resting breaths. And breathe into all those areas that are feeling challenged. And get ready, gently lift the head. From here, we're going to take our left knee and move the left knee in to 12 o'clock in front of you, so in line with the nose. Important here is to have both sit bones in full contact with the mat. So if you feel your foot is too far underneath the body, move it away to allow that sit bone its full contact with the mat. Draw this right foot in. Position it on the inside of the left knee. Make sure the sit bones remain on the mat. See if you can cross that leg over. If your sit bone lifted off the mat, rather push weight back into it and then position this foot on the inside of the knee. The aim here and the value of this pose is to have both sit bones in full contact with the mat. So wherever you are, we're going to take the opposite elbow and cradle that knee and the elbow and draw it closer to the body. Now feel that very intense stretch down the glute. So you are in control here. If it's too intense, release the grip on the knee slightly. If you feel it's not enough of a challenge and you want more, grip deeper. Pull that knee higher into the chest and make sure that there's no tension in the shoulders. So if the shoulders crept up to the ears, soften them. Release that right arm. Circle it round, half circle to behind the body. We position the fingertips on the floor. And then we turn the gaze to look over that right shoulder. Whilst we're holding for 3 slow breaths, make sure that both sit bones are flat on the mat. Regulate the intensity of the glute stretch. Let's hold for 1 more breath. Gently release. Slowly circle the body back to face forward. Straighten out both legs and then shake out the calves on the floor, bringing that relaxation back into the hips, into the glute, and I'll swap legs. Right leg straight in front of the nose, 12 o'clock. Make sure there's enough space for both sit bones to find the mat. If you need to move that foot away from underneath, you do so. Now we take our left knee and do on this side what you did on the other side. So if you had your foot on the inside, do so again. If you had your foot crossed, try and achieve that again without compromising that sit bone. We don't want that sit bone to lift. Push weight into it. We want that firm contact. Cradle that knee in the opposite arm. And again, you choose how intense this pose is going to be on the glute. So for more intensity, pull that knee into the chest. For less intensity, release the knee away. Wherever you are, we're now going to take our left arm, circle it around the body. Again, position the fingers on the floor behind you. Turn the gaze over that right shoulder. And feel how the ribs are twisting away from the thigh.
So we don't want to slouch the body onto the thigh. We want to lift and twist, lift and twist. And this is really beneficial to the internal organs and to digestion. We'll hold for one more breath and then gently release. Turn the body back to face forward again. Straighten out both legs. Shake out the calves on the floor. And then get ready to lie on the stomach. So turn the body face down. And we're going to stretch the arms out in front of us. And we're going to turn one cheek to rest on. Working gently with the neck. Soft neck. When the neck is relaxed, we cannot injure it. And let's get ready for a baby cobra. So we're going to draw the hands back closer to the body. Position them underneath the shoulder joints. Make sure your elbows are tucked in tightly to the ribs. We don't want them to stray out to the side. And that is to protect the shoulder joint here. Press on the hands only into baby cobra. So for baby cobra or half cobra, we keep the navel on the mat. Check whether you've got the right height for half cobra. Lift the hands off the floor for a moment and then position them back on the floor. Now we're going to peep over the left shoulder. Hold that for 2 breaths. Feel the weight on the tummy. Feel the stretch in the neck. And gently bring the body back to midline. Get ready to repeat on the other side. So peeping over the right shoulder. Hold this for a few breaths. Feel the weight pressing down on the tummy. Stretch in the neck. Gently bring the body back to midline. Now drape the torso down to the mat and turn the alternative cheek to rest on. Stretch the arms out in front of you again and then soften the neck and rest the head. Breathe, take deep breaths of oxygenated air. And get ready for a second round of baby cobra. So we draw the hands to again exactly underneath the shoulder joints. We raise our torso. We now know where our height for baby cobra is. Again, peep over the left shoulder. And if this is enough, then stay here. You're going to add a modification. Drop that left elbow onto the mat and push on the opposite hand. Straighten your right arm, lock the right elbow. Turn the gaze even further over this left shoulder. Feel that intense pinch on the side of the waist. We're creating temporary compression on the left side of the abdomen and its organs. Hold for a breath. Gently move the body back into midline. Turn the gaze over the right shoulder. And again, if this is enough, then stay here. If you want to add the modification, drop that right elbow flat onto the mat. Push on the left hand. Straighten your left arm if you can. Lock that left elbow. And then twist the gaze even further over the right shoulder. On this side, feel the intense pinch on the right waist, creating compression on the right side of the abdomen and its organs. Gently bring the body back into midline. Lower the torso all the way down to the floor. Turning the alternative cheek again to rest. Stretching out the arms. Soften the neck. Allow the head to be heavy. Let's take in 2 deep, slow, resting breaths. Filling the lungs with oxygen. Gently releasing. Get ready, lift the head, draw the hands back, all the way next to the lower ribs. Push the body up onto all fours and straight back into child's pose. Now this time we're going to draw our elbows down on the sides. We want to work with the muscles situated here on the side. Actively pull your elbows down to the mat. Spread the fingers wide. feel the tummy resting on the thighs, and then soften the neck, drop the forehead all the way down to the mat. And we're going to hang out here for 5 resting breaths. Really breathe into the back of the body. Allow the heart rate to lower. Get ready, lift the head, press the body back onto all fours and simply come to lie on your back. Once more, let's draw the knees into the chest. Grip the shins. Take a moment to feel all 4 corners of the back in full contact with the mat. Then gently start rocking from side to side, massaging out the back muscles, massaging out those nerves that originate between the vertebrae and serve the organs in the abdominal cavity. Then bring the body to a still. Once again, we're going to straighten out the left leg all the way down to the floor. We're going to grip our right shin and see whether perhaps you can work that right thigh a little deeper into the chest than before, creating that temporary compression on the ascending colon, on the liver, on the gallbladder, the pancreas, some of the intestines, and then gently release. Make this a slow movement to lower this leg all the way down to the floor, and then choose whether to lie still or maybe shake out the calves again and feel that warmth, the tingle created all down this right side, that circulation. Get ready, draw the left knee into the chest, grip the shin, work that knee a little deeper than you did before. And now, because we're pulling on the opposite side of the sacrum, actively soften out the sacrum, soften out the lower back, soften out the mid-back. On this side now, putting compression on the descending colon, the spleen, intestines again. And let's get ready. Release the legs, slow movement all the way down to the mat. And again, choose whether you just lie still or shake out the legs. And then bring the body to a still. So our last asana before our resting pose is bridge. The benefits of bridge is that we're stretching out the abdomen and the epithelial cells all over the digestive tracts. They are responsible for keeping digestive tract healthy. So let's get ready. We keep our knees drawn up. We drape the back onto the mat. Position the heels to be as close to the sit bones as your body finds comfortable today. And then allow the palms of the hands to face down to the floor, because we might be using our hands to assist with pressing the pelvis up into the sky. So we're going to start by tucking the tailbone. So all that is that little pocket of air between the lower back and the mat. Close that off. So we tuck the tailbone and we close that pocket off. Then we start lifting the lower back into the sky. Continue, lift the upper back. Feel how the weight is moving into the shoulders. Continue lifting the body over the shoulders. And you should by now be feeling a healthy pressure in the shoulders. Bridge is also very effective to soften that area between the shoulder blades and creating space when we're holding tension. So let's use the glutes here, contract the glutes to help lift that pelvis into the sky. And if this is enough, then stay here. If you want to add a modification, then maybe interlace the fingers below the body. Try and keep the heels of the hands together. And then we straighten the arms. So you're going to have to roll the shoulder joints in under the body and then adjust the body so it feels good. And let's lift that pelvis into the sky. Make sure you're looking straight ahead. No looking to the side here because that risks injury of the neck. Make sure you've got a soft neck. When our neck is soft, we cannot injure it. And let's hold for another 3. Let's see if we can lift the pelvis higher. 2. 1. Squeeze the heels of the hands together. And then gently release the hands. Roll the shoulders out from underneath the body and start draping that spine, vertebra by vertebra, controlled and mindful, back onto the mat. Wonderful. And lastly, we untuck the tailbone and we feel that little pocket of air returning to between lower back and mat. Now let's rest the legs, remove the feet about as wide as the mat, and allow the knees to rest against one another in the midline. Close the eyes. Take a deep resting breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Allowing the relaxation to completely return to the whole body before we go into our second round of bridge. So let's get ready. Move the heels closer to the sit bones. Position the palms of the hands to face down to the mat. Start by tucking the tailbone under, lifting the lower back, lifting the mid back, and feel how the quads are working to achieve this. Lifting the upper back, feel the pressure move into the shoulders. Decide whether you want to stay here or again interlace the fingers. If you interlace the fingers for a second time, put the other little finger on the outside, the way it doesn't come naturally, and then move the shoulders in under the body again. Press the heels of the hands together and lift the pelvis into the sky. Now if this is enough, then stay here. Or maybe walk the heels a little closer to the hands and lift the pelvis into the sky. And if you want to add yet another modification, then raise the right leg, point it, lift the pelvis, flex it, point it, lift the pelvis, drop the right leg, swap feet, lift the left leg, point it hard, lift the pelvis, flex the foot, point the foot, lift the pelvis, gently lower that left leg and undo the hands, roll the shoulders out from underneath the body and start putting the spine back onto the mat. Wonderful. Again, move the feet out to the side, drop the knees into the midline, close the eyes, and we're going to take 5 resting breaths. Taking in lots of oxygen to assist the body with all the work that's happening internally. And when we're ready, let's prepare for Shavasana. So we're going to straighten out the legs, move the heels away from one another. So choose your position, flop the feet out to the sides. Turn the palms to face up to the ceiling. Arms are slightly away from the body, not too far, because we don't want our arms to get cold. Close the eyes, and then move the shoulders away from the ears. Allow the neck to be soft, allow the head to be heavy. Become aware of the breath. Feel the flow of the breath. In through the nose, into the lungs, into the bloodstream the oxygen goes. Gently releasing on the exhale. Feel the head, allow the head to be heavy and melt into the mat. Feel the softness in the throat and the heaviness of the upper back where it meets the mat on the shoulder blades. Be aware of the lightness in the lung cavity. Let's take in a deep breath of oxygenated air, filling the lungs to capacity and gently releasing. Feel the heaviness of the pelvis where the glutes make contact with the mat. Feel the soft rounds of the calves in contact with the mat. tips of the heels, maybe resting on the mat, maybe on the floor. Feel the lightness of the toes hanging out in free space. Become aware of the backs of the hands resting on the mat, maybe on the floor. And the lightness of the fingers also hanging out in free space. Become aware of the face. Soften out the forehead, removing all the little lines. Soften out the eyebrows, the area between the eyebrows. Relax the area around the eyes. Soften the lips completely. Imagine the ears are heavy and they draw down to the earth on the force of gravity, creating smooth and wrinkle-free skin all over the face. Let's take a moment to consider the incredible healing ability of our bodies. And give thanks, give gratitude, feel that vibration of gratitude in your body, in your mind, in your heart, for being able to work with our bodies to promote healing and to restore balance. And then when we're ready, let's bring movement back into the body. Maybe wriggle the fingers, maybe rub the thumb over the fingertips, maybe wriggle the toes, maybe you want to do a few ankle rolls. If you do them in one direction and then reverse into the opposite direction. And then let's pull the knees into the chest like we did during the practice. Hold on to the shins. Feel that perfect plane of the back in full contact with the mat. Then gently roll the body over to the right. Bend the right arm to use as support underneath the head. And we take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose. And we are aware of the security and stability of earth underneath us. And we are aware of the lightness and the wellness we feel in the body that we created through the practice. And then keeping the eyes closed, use the one hand to press on the floor and the other hand to press on the floor. Locate your mat with your hands. Move the body onto the mat. It doesn't matter which way you're facing in. Find a comfortable seated position. Let's bring our hands together in prayer in front of the chest. And then gently raise the thumbs to touch the forehead, to remind of purity of thought. Lower the thumbs to touch the lips, and remind of purity of speech. We lower the thumbs all the way down to the heart space, and we remind ourselves of the magic ability of our body's regenerative capacity. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for the session.